favorite foods?
Potato salad is healthy. Nothing wrong with fried potatoes dunked in mayonnaise.
It's not. They weren't fried.
No, they're
Hello.
not fried.
Yeah. What's wrong
That's-
with you?
Have you never had roast potato salad?
We're
No.
not. No.
Wow, you disappoint me. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's edition of the Penny and Ill Informed podcast, where we will be eventually discussing the hilarious tale of Lisa Nowak. But before we get there, Tom, how are you?
Yeah, pretty good. I've been away this week. My family and I, we went to visit Hannah's aunt and uncle in. I will not give away their address.
That's
Last thing they
unusual for
want.
you.
Last thing they want is one of your turds going through their letterbox, Richard, or something. So they were lovely. They were absolutely great, and we played a few board games. We went on a lot of walks, saw some other lovely members of Hannah's family, and it was all really good.
What part of the country would you go that far?
Oh, so I meant to go that far. Norfolk.
No. Oh, Norfolk's great. You got cranes in Norfolk. Did you see the cranes?
I can't honestly say I looked out for any particular
Oh,
fauna.
you'd know if you saw a crane. They're massive birds. Huge. It's the only place in England you can see wild cranes.
Oh, well, I'll keep my eyes open next time then, because there certainly will be a next time.
We've also got the stork reintroduction program and beavers in Norfolk. It's a great place to go if you love animals.
I can see a beaver whenever I want to.
But I'm waiting for you to go. Well, no, there's one in the river nearby.
Yeah, I don't.
That would have been the icing on the cake on that joke. But tonight,
I just left it.
Just left it.
Just left it there.
Nobody tonight seems to be backing up on any of my hilarious japes. That's fine. Niki, how are you?
I'm awesome. I just woke up literally 10 minutes ago. Life is good.
Okay, Kevin, how are you?
I'm good. Nikki woke up 6 minutes ago, had 7 bites of potato salad, and then Richard introduced. And now I'm just thinking about, taking Red Robin fries and make a potato salad out of it.
Right? I'm just like, fried potatoes. No.
So
roast potatoes.
So you're talking
a difference
about
between fried and roasted, though.
Yeah.
So which one is it? Is it fried potatoes or is it roasted potatoes?
You can have it any way you want to. You can have chip potato salad.
That sounds delicious.
So are you saying that you take it like a new potato or like a red potato or something like that, and then cook it and then parboil it and then oven roast it? You know what I mean? Like
oven roast it, fry it in a frying pan, whatever takes your fancy, Kevin. I'm not here to judge.
Potato salad is delicious.
Yeah,
exactly. There are many different ways you can have potato salad. Also, one of the most interesting Irish dishes is, roast potato salad and mackerel and rhubarb.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, we will take everything and put it together, but the Irish cuisine is really, really, is really good if you give it a chance. If you give it a chance, but I mean, there's lots of famous Irish dishes that people really love, and lots of classic English dishes that people really love too. I don't get the thing where they say British food is terrible. I never have understood.
I'll be able to tell you guys next time. Though I am having a little bit of a hard time because what's the primary meat that you find in Ireland?
Pork, I would imagine.
And lamb.
Sheep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, lamb. Yeah.
Listen, I'm deathly I will die. I'm so allergic to lamb.
Oh.
And so my sister, who is celiac and she can't have gluten, we were talking because she's coming with me in October. We're going to Ireland in October. And her husband was like, where are you going to get food? You're not going to be able to find food. And she's like, I have plenty of food for me. It's Niki we can't find food for.
Yeah,
I'm super duper allergic to lamb.
The thing that I learned they tested me for celiac a while ago, and the thing that I learned was that it started off with like it's a genetic thing that started off in a certain part in Ireland, and it's like if you are related to this certain group of people, it's like all started from one like genetic sort of offshoot, is what they said. I mean, I don't know
Huh.
at the time. That was a long time ago. Yeah, but lamb and mutton and things like that. You have to ask for that now. It's not one of those things.
Okay, it's
I
not going to
mean,
just
it's
be everywhere.
no. They're
They're
Thank
no,
not
you,
going
no,
to put it in the
Jesus.
ice cream or anything.
Well, no,
no,
I'm not afraid of that. My fear is that it's
no. It
my
look
fear
it,
is cross contamination. If I'm being
no. It's not.
honest,
No, it's not going to be like that. It's not like that at all.
You
that's
know
a
they got
great question,
laws these
Gabby.
days.
I don't know how I do with wool. I've never really been around just flat out wool. I'm not sure if bad things would happen.
Yeah.
All right. So any other time someone asks a question in the chat, you just ignore it. But this
That is
one
not
time
true.
that pertains to you, you're all over that.
That's
Okay.
not
No,
true.
no.
I answer Gabby whenever I see it. I do. How
So
often have I stopped the
SoFlo.
show? No, I've mentioned stuff for SoFlo as well. Whenever I see something I want to discuss, why are you starting shit with me? I just woke up. Let's go.
So yeah. So
Bring it.
guys in the chat, the secret is to make it about her, and she'll read your question.
That is a
That's it.
lie. How many times have I stopped the show and read off something somebody said? Yes, I'm very attentive. Thank you, Gabby.
I look at it like this is the podcast version of pulling your hair in the
It
school.
is 100%. He'll
Yeah,
wait and then
it's
he'll
like
get me to sigh and then he'll be like, I win. You
That,
got frustrated at me. I irritated you until you sighed.
that is a blatant lie, and stop gaslighting me.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is.
yes,
That's
the
exactly what it is.
Kevin, on multiple occasions, has gotten to see where you gaslit me because I've been able to provide receipts for your dumbassery.
right.
Gaslighting doesn't exist. It's something you made up because you're crazy.
The double gaslight. That's what Richard does. Richard does the double gaslight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Double.
does.
It's a good
He-
day
yeah,
if I'm only
yeah.
doing it double.
Yeah, if he's only double gaslighting you.
You're a close personal friend if I'm only double gaslighting you.
Yeah.
I gaslight people so much they don't even fucking know if I'm doing it or not.
Am
All
I
right, so
crazy or
anyway.
is it Richard?
Yeah, exactly. That's the question. Am I crazy or is it Richard? That's the dream. I want that in the Urban Dictionary. So, 80s music. How do you guys feel about 80s music?
Love it.
Love it.
I hate it.
Shut up, Nikki.
What?
I'm kidding. I love
Are you-
80s
so you
music.
okay? But what genre? What genre are you talking about? You're
Yeah,
talking-
there's so many different. There's 80s
Yeah.
hip hop, and then there's 80s pop, and then there's 80s rock, and there's hair bands, and
Yeah, hair bands.
My God,
All
I've
right.
just thinking about it. 80s music is amazing on about 5 different levels.
absolutely. I mean,
right.
Danny Elfman was running shit with Oingo Boingo back in the day. I loved Oingo Boingo. Loved Danny. And then he had, yeah, there were so many really good bands.
I'm going to get a pen and paper and I'm going to write down 5 totally different 80s songs that are all amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, it was more sort of a lead in to something I was going to bring up, but okay, if we're taking notes. So we're all fans of 80s music, right?
No, I hate it. Ha! I win!
Anyway, there has been a trend lately of taking 80s music, making it all slow and dramatic, and putting it through auto-tune until it sounds like it was made in this day and age, and putting it on movie or TV commercials.
Yeah.
I am here for it.
Yeah, the 80s is back. Well, actually, the 90s. We already went through the 80s again, and now they have the high top pants and
We're
crap.
in the middle of a global cost of living crisis and recession, so yeah, we are in the 80s.
Yes, that's exactly like the 80s.
I'm
Except
talking
you
about
know-
fashion.
Oh, but yeah, no, I'm just saying it's like living in Thatcher's Britain right now.
Hungry like the wolf while she murdered kids. Diane Downs. We already talked about her like 6 months ago, Gabby. Keep
Well,
up.
all the like Stranger Things uses a lot of 80s music, and that I mean
Oh, that show is trash.
well, but yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But it's Kate Bush's "Running Up That Hill" song came back. I mean, with that, and it's just like a lot of songs are remakes of 80s songs or samples of 80s songs.
So, did he just say Stranger Things is trash?
Yes, he did.
He's never watched it. He's never watched a single episode of Stranger Things. It's one of the things that I plan on getting him into.
No, it's not.
What are you talking about, Nikki? I've watched every season of
You
Stranger
have
Things.
not
Yes,
watched
we
a
did.
single
I
season of
watched.
Stranger Things.
I watched it on some show.
No, I'm talking about Richard.
Yeah, no, I know. That's what I'm saying. We watch it on some. There's a thing where we can share the video, and after you get off the podcast, and I get off the podcast, then I come back on, and Richard and I watch porn and Stranger Things.
That's a lie, because Richard and I watch Big Mouth and porn after the show.
I've got like 5 tabs open of porn and various shows with various people. It's time.
I'm sorry that I triggered you
I
with
see,
how
like,
many tabs I have open.
Richard's room looks like a production studio with like 12 different televisions.
Yeah, I just got. Oh God, Kevin's here. All right, what porn are we watching tonight?
No,
Tom's messaging me. Oh, there's a lot of anal porn. Right there.
Anal porn with some old ladies in it.
I'm saying nothing.
He's like, that's what I
right,
just got
let's
finished
see.
watching. How did you know?
Geriatric anal porn. There's a tab that doesn't come up on YouPorn.
Oh Jesus! How
bet it
How
does.
did we get here?
I'll go look at it right now.
From the chat, Alan Hentages, how about that 90s show reboot? I haven't seen it. Nikki has. She says
I loved it. It felt like to me it felt like a continuation of the 70s show. It didn't feel like it was a rehash or anything. It felt like they had just given me a new season, but 20 years in the future. I enjoyed it.
Nikki has a degenerative disorder and is high 90% of the time. Just want to point that out.
Which makes the show better.
which means, her opinion is it's not worth anything. But, yeah, so 80s music coming back. I'm a fan of that.
Yeah, but it's also a lot. I think it's a lot cheaper to license 80s music, because if you think about it,
especially if you change it up a little bit, just a smidge.
Yeah.
Just change.
You don't get hit by copyright if you change it. It's fair use, which is interesting. I didn't know that.
Well, if you change the tune a couple of notes on it, then you can do. I mean, that's a funny thing. You never know when you're going to get in trouble for sampling music or something. Some of that you can get totally away with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then other things, you put 2 notes together, and it's like, oh, this song's like that. I might, take this out.
If you just take an original tune and put your own lyrics on it, that is copyright infringement. Has Vanilla Ice discovered?
Yeah, there's been a few cases of that. What Led Zeppelin? Wasn't there some people who recently believed that Led Zeppelin had been ripped off, or was it Queen? Oh, I'm sorry, I haven't got a good enough memory to even be talking about this. But there was
good bring up there, Tom.
Yeah.
Somebody somewhere may or may not have been a victim of copyright infringement. Thank you.
Let me Google it, and then I'll come back when I've actually got something half coherent worth saying.
But it's interesting though, because I'm very into vinyl, and I collect a lot of vinyl and stuff, and so I'm part of these different groups, and people like share like pretty high quality, recordings off their vinyl, and things, and they don't get. It's like they don't get in trouble for that. I mean, it just seems like the minute I put a song on something, it's like taken down.
Yeah.
It's just strange. I think it's
Amazing, isn't it? How much it's changed in our lifetime. When we were kids, it was vinyl, then it was cassettes, then CDs, then MP3s, and now it's just music
When you
comes
were
through the
kids, it was
internet.
vinyl. So my dad had a truck that had an 8-track in it. I remember 8 tracks, and I preferred those over cassettes so much.
No, the thing about vinyl is that it
I
used to
love
be
vinyl.
it
Vinyl
used to be
is great.
it used to be you could get vinyl for nothing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? People were throwing them away,
Now it's like
and
$30 for a new album.
oh yeah, yeah. Like Moby came out with his new album, and it's on vinyl.
Yep.
Uh, and all of them put it on vinyl, and I mean, it's like you can get. And then New Order sent me something. It said, "Would you like to have the new collector's edition?" It's $117, but they give you two vinyl records, two CDs, a DVD, and this booklet. So the thing that I find is interesting about it is that a lot of these people uh, want you to buy the vinyl, but not really listen to it on vinyl, which is strange. You know what I mean? So you still, a lot of times when you even buy vinyl, they'll have a thing that says, okay, you can digitally download it. But, it does sound different, and I do like the little cracks and pops and all the things that are in there, the little inconsistencies, because then, it's,
Well, also I think that there's some music that just needs to be listened to on vinyl.
yeah. Well,
There's just some music that's better on vinyl.
yeah. Well, if they made it for vinyl, I think it's better. If they made it for digital, I think that's better. I mean, like I said, I don't, like the new music that you do it. If unless they've designed it to be on vinyl, then there's no point. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Some of the other ones, whenever the needle, the stylus is just in the groove quite right, and everything like that, it's just wonderful. But
My
but
favorite band releases a lot of vinyl still, and they sound good on vinyl. But
yeah. Yep. But a lot of times you have to you have to have you have to have a certain level of turntable for it to sound right. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
I found that instead of using they used to get the foam pads or the rubber pads that used to go underneath the record, that if you get like it's like a perspex type material now that goes under it, it increases the bass of the record incredibly. There's certain things you can do that you can make it sound a lot better.
you're such an audiophile sometimes.
Well, I mean, but I mean, let's put it this way: everything I have is used. It's something that I bought somewhere.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like I'm going out and buying like $1,000 turntable like a lot of.
yeah.
So
I have good memories of a turntable when I was in middle school. I used to stay at my best friend's house, and her stepdad had a nice turntable layout in the garage, and we used to go out there and smoke weed and listen to music while he DJ'd.
nice.
13-year-olds hanging out in the car,
Yeah,
the garage with the dad.
Yeah.
He's spinning music, and we're just.
You know how much trouble you would get in now for that? I mean, of course, if you do anything with young girls anymore, you're a groomer, especially if you're like just letting them have a sly smoke of weed or something.
Right. Well,
That's,
it was me and his daughter, so it
no,
wasn't like, yeah.
I understand. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Just that this is the new thing.
Yeah.
And then, being accused of a pedophile. I mean, it's like, it's like one of those things where everybody's going to be accused of being a pedophile at some point in time.
Yeah.
Anymore.
Well, I mean, there are.
Oh, I understand that there are lots of pedophiles. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, it's just one of those things where, it's like, oh, you're a teacher, you're a pedophile. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, we should be one of those things where kids would say it. You know what I mean? As a joke.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure Tom's been called pedo or something. One of the
By
Jesus.
no,
Cheers,
by a student, as
I haven't, but I know plenty of people who have. Or I would. It's that kids. No, some kids just do it as just like a reflex but they don't realise what a serious allegation they're making at all.
Right. Look at like whenever I used to watch the In-Betweeners, and like there's that 13-year girl smoking at the end of the thing, and she turns around and calls the boys pedos. You know what I mean? 13, you pedo. And it's just like one of those things where it's like, um,
Yeah, whatever happened to just good old fashioned bullying of your teacher?
right.
I never called my teacher a pedo, and I managed to get detention almost every day.
Right.
So
Well, it gets to the point where it's like sometimes the kids will come up and like they'll bump into you, and then they'll pretend like you whacked them. You know what I mean? It depends on the class. It depends on the class. If there's a very very little discipline or in the class, it's they'll try anything to try to get you in trouble.
yeah. Yeah, I just tried to get myself into trouble so I could get out of class so I could skip the rest of the day at school.
Right.
And yeah, all
I
I
don't
had to
really-
do was be a smartass.
Something that comes naturally to you is your greatest asset. Yeah, I can see that. So far, I don't really trust us to handle that case with the care it deserves. We handle hilarious fuck ups, not real life tragedies.
What's she talking about?
SoFlo wanted us to cover the case of Audrey Mestre.
Oh,
I don't know. It's French, and who knows how to do that. But yeah, no, that was a tragedy. I don't cover tragedies.
I'll cover
Oh,
it.
Although I'd like to point out that the one thing a scuba diver should make sure they do before they go underwater is make sure there's actually air in their tank. That would be. That's all I'm going to say about it. That's it.
Is that not one of the? Is that not one of the checklist items that you're supposed to go over?
You'd think so. You'd think so. Someone would be like, "Is there actually air in this tank?" Before they started diving, but apparently not. So,
well, whenever if you're a private plane pilot, then you go around and you check all the things, make sure it's all working and all that before you take off. I understand that we're supposed to, and I think one of the things that they used to do whenever even I started driving was you're supposed to go around the car and look at all four tires now. And when's the last time you looked at all four tires before you got in the car and said, "Screw it, let's go"? You know what
Tom
I mean?
probably does every time, but I'd never do it.
I do every once in a while if I know that tire's been having an issue. But that's about it.
Right. But like you're not checking you're not putting the penny in the tire and checking the wear and looking at this, looking at that, checking the oil and checking to make sure that you've got proper brake lights and indicator lights and all that stuff. Some people do that whenever they hook up their trailer. They make sure that all the lights work, but that's like the only time I've ever seen people do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's
but yeah, so Flo, I don't see us covering that one with the care it deserves. There's a lot of suspicion on the internet. I'm aware people like Gabby that say the husband killed her. It's been 20 years. Even the French authorities aren't that incompetent. So surely some arrest or something would have been made. I think it was a tragic accident. I don't think it's something we should lightly talk about on this podcast. So.
Yeah, but I think a lot of times people get murdered and they can't prove it, and they probably have suspicions that they did it.
But mud sticks, doesn't it?
I don't know. I don't know if you think about it. Well, I don't want to get political, so I'm not going to go there.
Look at Russell Faria. Look what happened there. Dude lost 3 years of his life because everyone thought he was guilty, but it turned out he was innocent.
Well, yeah. This is the thing. Some people they don't mind going over the top for, and then other people they won't touch with a 10-foot pole because they're afraid they'll get in trouble if they do something. You know what I mean?
That's also true. So does anyone else have anything to discuss before we move on to the topic?
No, go for it.
Yep, have at it.
Have at it. Sweet.
Sorry. I do have my 5 songs. Sorry, just quick.
All right.
So
All
here's
right,
5 very different songs that came from the 80s. Master of Puppets by Metallica, the Ghostbusters song and the entire soundtrack that goes with it, The Wizard by Paul Hardcastle, which was the theme to Top of the Pops, which was prior to MTV, how you'd listen to music over here.
Plus, they
Poison.
actually played music on Top of the Pops.
Oh, that's cool. Then Look What the Cat Dragged In, the title track of Poison's debut album, and La Isla Bonita by Madonna.
All right. If you're going with Poison, you go with Talk Dirty with Me or nothing. All right.
Okay,
Don't go with look what the cat dragged in. You go with Talk Dirty to me.
Okay, is it from the same album? I think it is, but I'm not certain. It's either from that or their second album, Open Up and Say Ah.
Okay.
You're such a nerd.
Now we have to go through.
I love that.
We have to go through everybody's top 5 songs then.
Of the 80s?
The 80s.
Yeah. Because, it was very diverse. I mean, obviously House of Fun or Our House by Madness.
Baggy Trousers for me.
Yeah.
Baggy Trousers by Madness, Quiet Riot, Mental Health, Twisted Sister, I Want to Rock.
Alice Cooper, Poison is one of mine.
Motley Crue, Kickstart My Heart. And yeah, Duran Duran, Hungry Like the Wolf. That's a good one.
That's classic.
For me, the Motley Crue song from the 80s is one of my favorites is the title track to Dr. Feelgood, which was about 1989.
Yeah, that's a good tune. I prefer Kickstart My Heart, but
how can you not include Rats Round and Round?
That's a good one.
It's the top 5 songs.
You also have Shriek Back.
Yeah.
Nemesis. That was a good one.
Def Leppard and Iron Maiden.
All right, Def Leppard, controversial take. Def Leppard had one good song. All right.
Ooh.
What one?
Pour Your Sugar on Me.
And I would pick 19 by Paul Hardcastle over the one. The
Wizard? Yeah, I wouldn't agree. But each their own.
You don't have to agree, brother. I'm just saying that's my preferable Paul Hardcastle song. That's all.
Just Can't Get Enough is my favorite Depeche Mode
I knew
song.
that would be your favorite Depeche Mode song. I can't hear that song without thinking about you because I've heard you sing it so much.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes in the OR, I immediately start laughing because I literally cannot hear it without hearing your voice singing to it.
Well, the thing that I
love
think about it is in Britain they were Depeche Mode, and in America they're Depeche Mode.
Yeah,
it's a funny thing.
In my favorite Depeche Mode song, I think it was 1990. It's Personal Jesus.
You're on my own. Personal.
Mine's Enjoy the Silence.
I like Personal Jesus, but I like the Marilyn Manson version of it.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know that.
It's a good one. Yeah, it's a good one.
Let's play
I prefer the Eurythmics Sweet Dreams version to Marilyn Manson's version of Sweet Dreams, though.
Oh, you can't beat Annie Lennox and Eurythmics. I'm sorry, she's just gonna crush you. You shouldn't even try to redo that song or any.
Joan Jett and the Black Hearts. That was also the 80s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, there's another one. See, you go down this. And you can't just pick your top 5 because then you think about another one and you're like, oh, yeah, that one was great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
How about Just Like Heaven from The Cure?
Song. Who?
No, it's
Just Like Heaven from The Cure?
Oh, I love The Cure.
Me too. And the Ramones?
No. It's Madness this week.
Madness. Madness is my all-time favorite.
Oh, come on, Tom. You should have gotten that reference.
Sorry, slow as hell tonight.
All right. Anyway, the topic. Are we done with 80s music now?
Yes, please.
Yes, we are.
This glamorous femme fatale is Lisa Nowak. She was born on May 10th, May 10th,
May
18th.
May
May
10th,
10th.
May 10th, May 15th. It ain't it ain't the first and it ain't the last day of the month.
May 10th in Washington, D.C. in 1963. When she was a little girl, she had a dream. That dream was to be an astronaut. A lot of us have that same dream. She actually realized it. And this was the 70s and 80s when becoming a female anything was well, it's still pretty difficult today, let's be honest. But it was a lot harder back then.
And it's getting harder.
That's what he said.
Yes.
That's just way to completely destroy the feminist point I was trying to make, Kevin. But yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So she wanted to be an astronaut, and she accomplished this dream by joining the US Navy. She became very well respected in the armed forces, had many honors, flew several experimental fighter jets like the EL-7L Corsair and the Sky Warrior. She also got herself a Master of Science degree in aeronautical engineering. She selected to attend the U.S. Naval Pilot School in Maryland. And, then she flew the Hornet, the Prowler, got herself some medals, basically had a good time in the Navy, and eventually became an astronaut. In 2006 was when she went to space on one of the shuttles that didn't blow up, the Discovery. And she also spent some time on the International Space Station in 2007, which is, good for her, We all had a good time. And you know what? I got to be honest. I wanted to be an astronaut too when I was a kid, but I did not have the work ethic. And the fact that she had this dream, that she realized this dream, she deserves.
You realize Britain doesn't have a space programmer. I mean, that's one of the reasons why it's almost impossible to be British and, an astronaut.
There was that Tim bloke that went to the International Space Station.
No, I understand.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Not the point. The point is it takes a lot of hard work and effort, and I'm a lazy bastard. That's the point.
Well, no, we all know that.
Okay. Yeah. Good one. So, anyway, so she had the dream job. She also had a husband who she was cheating on with her boyfriend. And she was said to say that her boyfriend was the one she preferred. He obviously loved her, but he wanted her to get a divorce because, well, there's only so long you can be the other bloke for before it gets boring, I guess. She wouldn't leave her husband, so her boyfriend went and got himself a girlfriend, which, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, there doesn't seem anything wrong in that.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that either.
No.
This did not set well with Lisa at all, who finally divorced her husband and then went to move in with a boyfriend who said, nah, you know what? I'm with this chick now. This whole you and me thing, it ain't going to happen. I don't think he said it in those exact words, but that's the gist of what he said. And she did not take this well. She became obsessed with his girlfriend, a woman named Colleen, who was in Florida. So one day she decided, sod it. So she packed a car full of supplies, gasoline, adult diapers, and she drove 900 miles to Florida with the intent of killing Colleen. She failed, luckily. What happened was she was stalking Colleen in the most ridiculous... She had this disguise of like this jet plat wig. She was wearing sunglasses, and it just made her super more obvious, if you know what I mean. Like, she drew attention to herself with the disguise.
The disguise, yeah.
Yeah. And Colleen was onto her, was like, hey, this woman's making me nervous. So she ran away from Lisa, headed back to a car, got into a car. Lisa chased her down and started banging on the windows, demanding to let her in. As soon as she rolled down the window to talk to Lisa, which I think was a dumb idea, Lisa filled her car with pepper spray. Now, ordinarily you'd think, oh man, that's not a good thing. Colleen found the strength, I have been pepper sprayed, I know how much it hurts, to drive her car, which was full of pepper spray, away from the situation and get help. Lisa was promptly arrested, and this nice little astronaut pic here, well, that became this as a mugshot.
Oh dear.
So she was arrested for various charges. It wasn't attempted murder. I think it should have been attempted murder, considering that's what she was trying to get.
Yeah, but you can't use that as a motive. I mean, you could have said. I mean, I would have said attempted kidnapping at least. But you know, even if you go there with the even if you premeditate it and you have it all planned out, if you don't actually, you know, get a hold of the person, I mean, it's a tough one. How do you, you know, you can say, well, yeah, I did all that, but I got there and I just really wanted to talk to her, and then I just assaulted her. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
It's well, I mean, charging people is really hard. I mean, you gotta prove
Your case. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. What she was convicted of was attempted kidnapping, burglary of conveyance with a weapon, and battery. And I think she took a plea deal. She only got 1 year's probation, which I think was ridiculous. There are so many true crime stories I have read that go this way that end up with somebody dead.
right.
But,
Yeah, and especially whenever you can get 1 year probation for, like, you know, peeing
having a joint.
on the street. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, public urination. All right, we'll let you off with 1 year's probation.
yeah.
Or you could try to kidnap somebody.
So she got a year's probation. Apparently, here's one of the weird things about this case. As I said before, she had packed adult diapers because she didn't want to appear on any cameras at gas stations. So she intended to, you know, go to the bathroom in her pants. She objected extremely fiercely to this being mentioned in the media. Like, she was prepared. She was quite happy for the media to say that she'd driven down to Florida to kill Colleen. But, you know, the diaper thing, no, you got that bang out of order, mate. That's the main thing. So yes, she got a year's probation. She's threw away. She was obviously fired. She won't be going into space anytime soon. I don't know what she's doing now. Her online presence vanishes after the case. The only thing I find out is that she's living in Texas. That's it. That's all I know. Don't know what she's doing for money now. Don't know what she's doing for a living. But what fascinates me about this case is here's a woman who has had to work her arse off to get everything she wanted in life, manages to get it, and then pisses it away.
All for love.
Well, it wasn't really love. It was
No,
control.
I think it was revenge. Revenge because it was like, yeah, you spurned woman.
Spurned woman. She was married.
Well, no, I understand that. I mean, look, let's face it. She was an adulteress. He was an adulteress. I mean, adulterer. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, you know, from that standpoint.
Well, he moved on. Like, at what
Right.
point does she need to just suck it the fuck up? Like, she missed her opportunity. She had all the chance. And she left her husband, apparently, without even talking to this dude
Right.
about
So
what
that
their
was-
future was going to be. So,
Yeah.
I mean, these are all choices that she made.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. She selfishly thought, I think, that if she left her husband and then that everything was going to be the way that everybody thought it was, without talking to the other individual about it, that, you know, it's like that's the plan. She had a plan. Obviously, sometimes pilots and everything like that, they're very adrenaline driven, because that's what they do. Obviously, that kind of a thing. They're very intelligent and very adrenaline driven, and they're very driven to get what they want, you see. So I mean, that's part of it. So really, I think from a behavioral standpoint, it's not unreasonable to think that she would do something that was off, out of the normal, because as Richard says, we wouldn't do it because we're not out of the normal. You know, it's not but to be somebody who is in that scenario, who's a like I said, an adrenaline junkie. I mean, it's just like you can't. It's not a surprise to see that like race car drivers do risky things off the racetrack.
Right.
That's just their nature. And
But there's what do
yeah,
you call it? There's a word for it where you spend so much of your juvenile life working towards something that you never, you put all your energy into your academics and your career that you never emotionally grow up. I know there's
Yeah,
a word for it, but I've forgotten
Hmm.
what.
I can see that.
nerd.
Tom.
What? As if I did that. As if I did my bloody work.
No, if it ever came out that there was a bunch of dead prostitutes in your basement, I would not be surprised. All right, I'm just saying.
Dead prostitutes. WTF, man? What?
I'm
What?
just saying. You give those vibes. You're too nice of a human
Typically,
being.
if he didn't play him,
Oh,
they're
what
not
the most
prostitutes.
the most extreme case of it's the quiet ones you've got to watch in human history.
Yeah, he seemed
Tom
like
Hardy
such a
in
nice
Face of
guy.
Blood.
Got along with everybody.
Everybody had nothing but nice things to say
Just
about
say
Ted
about it.
Bundy.
Yes, yeah.
And it was all a deceptive facade.
He was really Ed Gein.
Oh, guys.
Okay, maybe that was over the line. I don't know.
That
But
was-
I'm just saying.
No, that's what we're here for. That's what well,
Yeah.
I'm not, but that's what you
Maybe some of the things we say on this podcast go over the line. Maybe.
well, I have to keep myself on a bloody tight leash because being a teacher, anything I say on this show could be played to, I don't know, board of governors, CEO of the academy chain, all that kind of
We
stuff.
could do with the
So
viewers.
we've managed
So
to
if you
call
want to
you
pass,
Ed Gein and a pedo in one show.
well, I don't think we called him a pedo, did we? That's not right.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
No, we didn't. We just said that since he was a teacher.
Yeah.
We implied he was a
Probably.
pedo.
No,
No.
No,
Nobody
absolutely
implied
not.
anybody was a pedo. All I said is that as a teacher, I was called a pedo by a student. It wasn't.
Damn.
Well, no, a student called me that. I'm just saying. He
Well,
didn't.
no, I know he was.
He
Just
didn't
being a dick.
accuse me of it. He
Right,
just
he was just
called
being an
me it.
asshole.
That's a
Yeah.
That's a different scenario.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly what Gabby said. We're not saying there's a pile of dead prostitutes in Delp's basement. We're just saying we wouldn't be surprised if that came out.
I would be surprised, Tom. I think you're wonderful.
Oh, thanks, Nicky. Bless you.
Should be surprised if nothing had been put in their asses.
Wow.
Yeah. unless
Lord have mercy.
there's a bunch of Chinese worried about
Okay, I'll stop now. Okay, I'm sorry.
UAPs, baby.
Yeah.
Woo! All right. Sorry. So I
love
like
it when
this
you crack
truth.
yourself up.
Well, nobody else is at my level of humor.
I know.
so-
Every time I hear you snort, generally it's at your own joke.
Yeah, I'm hilarious. What can I say?
Hey.
So I like this true crime story for two
No,
reasons.
but
One,
Go ahead.
one, nobody dies. Okay?
Yeah.
There are too many true crime stories where some decent person is dead because another one's a moron. And two, this story just goes to show that just because you're smart doesn't mean you're not a moron.
It's true.
Yeah. And I don't know, but you see, but then that whole idea of the but you can say that people learn from that. Criminals learn from that story because if you think about the Jodi Arias story, that she tried to do a very similar thing with the gas cans, so that she wouldn't go to the didn't have to go to the gas stations, so she could avoid the cameras. And I would believe, based on that lady's story, you see what I'm saying? Because I would have never thought about it, but at the time, whenever they said that she was using the Depans and the gas cans to avoid going to a gas station because they all have cameras. I never even thought about that before. And
Yeah, me neither.
it became like this is how you avoid being tracked on the road.
Yeah, okay, but
Your phone.
again, well, no, not even well, yeah, her phone. She took a bunch of pictures of herself at the crime scene, and left the DNA everywhere. I mean,
Well, no, the pictures were not on her phone. It was on a digital camera that she then
she
put in.
still took them.
I
What is the point in
I'm
going
not,
through all those steps of not
okay,
appearing on cameras if you're going to
yes,
take a selfie of yourself
no,
doing the murder?
I understand. I get what you're
Oh,
saying.
Jodi Arias, man.
I get what you're saying, but I'm just saying you can plan it out. Everything is always academic, and you can plan out the planning, and you can execute that perfectly. But no, okay,
No. It's just
no pun
it's
intended.
making me think. It's making me think of a different true crime case.
Yeah, but then
Sorry.
but then whenever you get there and you actually do it, you've got it's
You'll find yourself making, you know,
yeah, sort of,
vital mistakes like
yeah,
taking pictures of the crime scene,
or
leaving
having
an itemized list of everything you intend to
I
clean up.
knew that's
having
where you're
sex
gonna
with the
go with
victim,
that.
you know, taking a picture of your
It's
ass.
like it's like that quote from Blackadder. The criminal's vanity always causes them to make one small but vital error. Hers was to take detailed pictures of the crime scene and leave a DNA everywhere. I mean, Jodi Arias is a completely different animal. That girl was crazy. Like,
Right,
I know
but
everyone says she knew what she was doing. I believe she knew what she was doing, but that doesn't mean she wasn't just nuts. All
no,
right.
definitely, and that's the thing about it is like you know, but this is the thing where you just say they used to say criminal genius or a mad genius or something like that whenever they were describing people. It's not like you can be very very intelligent and crazy. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
It's not. I mean, like Hannibal Lecter is the classic case of a highly intelligent nut person. You know, but
I love Hannibal.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
A more real life version of that would be Ted Bundy.
Exactly. Very intelligent, charismatic guy who when you look at it you think, well, why would he even need to do this? Why would he even need to do that? I mean, he had everything going for him, other
He
than the
was
thrill.
nuts.
Yeah, being crazy. And we always call them evil because of that. But then, like I said, um, if you're crazy, then you don't know right from wrong. You don't know that. I mean, that's the definition of insanity at times, isn't it? I mean, so I
I
mean,
don't buy that as a definition for insanity because, like, everyone knows, most insane people know the difference. There's plenty of, if you're into this sort of thing, police interviews with genuinely crazy people who know what they did was wrong.
Hmm. I
Who's that?
watch them regularly.
Yeah, but like, really crazy people that do have things wrong in their head, that aren't just saying they're crazy, that know that they've done the wrong thing. So
Yeah.
I don't buy that whole, you don't know the difference between right and wrong as a defense. I think there are certain people that, might appear sane, but are genuinely nuts.
yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really matter, prison or a
Like
mental
me.
asylum. You're not nuts. You're just,
Special.
exactly. You're special.
Well, as the Bloodhound Gang said, put your hands down my pants and I bet you feel nuts.
That's how I tell people that their flies are open. I'll be like, I always thought you were crazy, but now I see your nuts.
Yeah.
That's how I let people know that their flies open. And you can either just be really confused or you can get it. But I'm not going to tell you.
She's not gonna give you any hints either way. So
Yes.
that's a good one. It's a good little ditty about I don't know, control, I guess, comes down to. She lost control of it.
Absolutely.
And she wanted it back.
Because if you're gonna be married with a side piece and your side piece gets a side piece, you have no reason to be upset.
Well, yeah, that's logic. Logic is coming into that there, Nikki. You see, that's what I'm saying. Logically, you
Like, you
say,
could be jelly, sure, why not?
Jelliness is fine.
Yeah, but don't be like a dick about it. Definitely don't go decide to fucking kill somebody.
Yeah, don't
yeah.
drive 900 miles in diapers.
And what I find interesting is that then it's if the relationship is ended, and if a dude says, "Yeah, I'm done with you," you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he's moved on to a new girlfriend. What makes her think that if he kills her girlfriend, that he's going to want anything to do with her?
Exactly. What kind of
Well,
stupid shit is
obviously
that?
she was hoping to get away with it.
Well, no. Let's say the crime is done. It's perfect crime. Nobody's ever caught for it. The girlfriend disappears and dies, right? Or never comes back. So then at that point in time, she just assumes that he's going to call her up and say, can I have you back, baby?
Well, we have a permanent example of that with Stephanie Lazarus. This is a woman that exactly the same situation. She murdered her boyfriend's lover to get him back. They got back together and she broke up with him. And then 15 years later, she went down for a murder. So,
yeah. Can you imagine?
Grass isn't always greener, just saying.
Yeah. So you murder the girlfriend and then you've got that on your conscience, and then you're like, I'm just really not into this guy.
Yeah.
Right. I killed someone for you, right?
Yeah.
Like, maybe
this just isn't working. I just feel like I've given too much to this relationship and you're not giving enough. That woman Gabby was talking about earlier, Diane Downs, the reason she shot her kids was to get together with a dude that she would have got bored of after a month.
Yeah,
she'd gone
absolutely.
for 1,000 men. Why? Just don't kill people. Just go and get drunk and burn all their shit, and then you'll feel better.
Yeah, I would say genuinely, it's usually not worth it.
Especially, somebody's. But again, it's a good story because no one dies, and I'd like to think that Lisa maybe learned a lesson. Don't know.
Nah.
Hopefully, she got the help she needed. She's a lot more mature adult now. I don't know.
Let me ask you a question. Richard.
What happened to her?
She got a year's probation.
Yeah, and she's living somewhere in Texas.
Yeah.
But okay, let me ask you a question, Richard. If she was in your age range, and you came across this lady, and she was into you, would you?
I learned a valuable lesson in my 20s, Kevin. Don't put your dick in crazy.
Also, she's a bit too skinny for him.
Yeah, she's too skinny and she's nuts. And it doesn't matter how much they're into you guys, anybody who listens, if you know she's crazy, do not hit that.
Because then that crazy's turned on to you.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah, exactly. You do not want to be the object of a crazy person's affections, as I have learned with Gabby.
Gabby's wonderful. Gabby, I'll take you.
Please take Niki, Gabby.
Please take her. Get her off of my hands.
Thank you, SoFlo. I'm sorry we won't be able to cover your topic. I just don't feel like we could give it the reverence it deserves. And like I said before, I don't think we could handle that one.
Especially
it was just
with you knowing that person.
Tragedy. Instead, next week we shall discuss one of my favorite criminals, the enigmatic Chandler Halderson. Oh, I've been waiting for this one for a long time.
What? Not Tom Arnold in his basement full of dead pros?
Well, I'm just waiting for that story to break. I mean, I can't wait for that day when we can do the Penny and Ellen Form podcast against the demon teacher of.
Yes, it'll be better than Dr. Crippen.
That'd be great. Yeah, Chad. The Chadster, Gabby. I'm looking forward to that one. He is one of my favourite true crime stories. People do die in that one, and it is a tragedy, but you just go. Sometimes at tragedy, all you can do is point and laugh for quite a long time at some moron that deserves to be laughed at.
Indeed.
So that'll wrap us up for this week. We will return next week, despite the hopes of many. It's good night from me, and it's good night from them. Good night.
Night.
Night, everybody. See you next time.